All right, y'all, the investigation into the Trump administration, they keep on coming. Of course, you got Robert Mueller, the special prosecutor, doing his thing, the FBI doing their thing, Congress doing their thing. Now the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights is saying, let's deal with this as well. They're going to begin a 2-year probe into the White House's slashing of budgets and staff in civil rights offices at 7 government agencies, with some cuts as high as 23%. The bipartisan watchdog group was created 60 years ago and is charged with monitoring civil rights enforcement in the federal government and advising the president and Congress on needed changes. Let's talk about it right now, of course, with member of that commission, which is extremely important to the issue of civil rights. Now, of course, they can't force the White House to do something, but they can embarrass them. Joining us right now is Catherine Lehman, chair of the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights. How you doing?
Thanks very much for having me, Roland.
All right, so here's the thing. So you have AG Jeff Sessions who comes in and says, look, you know, cops under so much pressure, and so, you know, it's hurting their morale, so we're going to pull back on consent decrees. They pretty much try to screw the Baltimore consent decree. Now they're trying to renegotiate and throw all the teeth out of the one in Chicago. Now all of a sudden, the attack on civil rights across federal agencies.
Yes.
And then he told black folks, what the hell do you have to lose? A lot.
Well, we are very, very deeply concerned about all of the signals from this administration about where they are and where they are not with respect to civil rights. The U.S. Commission on Civil Rights voted unanimously to conduct a 2-year investigation into civil rights enforcement across all the agencies.
I want to hold you right there. Okay. Sure. So to explain to the public, there are members of this commission who are appointed by Republicans and Democrats.
That's correct.
Okay. And so how many members of the commission?
There are 8 members of the commission.
How many are appointed by Democrats?
We are 6 members who are progressive and 2 members who are conservative at the moment.
So the conservatives also voted for this?
That's correct.
So they are also bothered by what they're saying?
There was a unanimous vote that we need to investigate this administration's civil rights enforcement record, and that is a core function of the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights and has been for 60 years. So we're taking up that function again and really taking very seriously our concerns.
I have seen nothing from this administration that says they give a damn about civil rights.
I would have phrased that slightly differently, but certainly the clearest signals we've seen to date have given us real reason for pause. Yes.
Chris Messer, I want to bring you in, Lauren, Eugene as well. So I got 2 black Republicans here. It just, again, there's nothing here. There's nothing this administration is showing that it cares about civil rights. And when you not only slash the budgets and you send the signal, look, we're not going to prosecute, we're not going to push any of these issues, anybody should be scared.
What do you mean Omarosa and Jeff Sessions aren't the second coming of Malcolm and Martin? Come on. You know, these guys didn't run on civil rights. They actually ran on the exact opposite. You know, like you said, what does Black America have to lose? A hell of a lot. You know, I think Jeff Sessions is the worst AG we've had in probably an entire generation and a half. I think Omarosa Manigault has done tremendous damage to the African American community with her lack of engagement when it comes to black Republicans and the black community overall. You know, and I think what they're doing with a lot of these civil rights offices and these agencies is going to set communities of color, disenfranchised communities back generations if it's not addressed.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's time for the commission to take a serious look as to what's going on. I frankly have not seen a civil rights agenda of any kind out of this administration. And, you know, I'm a Republican, and I have not seen this occur at all. So I think it is time, in fact, for the commission to look at this. And of course, there is this big discussion, not with the Civil Rights Commission, but with the EEOC about the merging of the EEOC and the Department of Labor. The problem is that doesn't work.
But why
they serve different
Why does there
functions.
need to be an investigation of that? I mean, we can see pretty plainly what they're doing right out in the public. They're not trying to hide what they're doing. Also, about Omarosa, she's one person. Stephen Miller and Steve Bannon are far more dangerous than Omarosa Manigault.
I will say this.
So the one person in there...
You have walking privileges with the president.
Does she have walking privileges?
She does.
Yeah, okay. Well, if she does have walking privileges, she's still one person.
That's true.
And you know that the president of the United States is unhinged.
But when you phrase yourself...
So one person going up against Donald Trump...
One second.
Between Black America and the President of the United States, the responsibility, when you take on that responsibility, as a person, will you take on that responsibility yourself? Will you freeze out other people from having that responsibility and that access? It falls on you. That responsibility falls on you.
You expect her to fix all the civil rights in the
Trump
White House.
I expect her.
And she's
if
got,
she wants,
Okay,
one
second.
To the White House.
1 second.
Be the black gatekeeper to the White House.
1 second. I'm not gonna have an Omarosa conversation. I want you to answer. I want you to answer your question. And your question was, why does it need to be investigation?
Well, it is our statutory charge to do the investigative work, and so we need to actually take a look at what the promises are, how the promises are kept, what the management practices look like, and what the budgets look like to be able to report to the American people, yes, this is effective, or no, it is not.
And
certainly,
will be your report at the end.
That will be our report at the end.
And
right.
folks, I don't think the average person also understands, because look, it's not public, really what these offices do and how they impact, again, folks' lives.
That's right, and I think, frankly, we are focused on the wrong things in the conversation we're having this morning. That there are White House advisors, but there are cabinet secretaries who are appointed to enforce federal civil rights laws who have taken a position that they will not do it, right? And that they are affirmatively opposed to the mission of their agencies. That's scary for us.
Is it a legal violation to not enforce the law? So if you don't enforce the Civil Rights Act, is that a violation of law, not enforcing?
There have been court cases that have ruled that the agencies have to act in the past, and in the Reagan administration, for example, the Department of Education, whose Office for Civil Rights I led until coming to the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights, was held under court order actually to act because they hadn't been acting in the past.
Well, I'm looking forward to this. Keep the pressure on. And again, he kept saying, what the hell do you have to lose? And we're going to keep saying a whole lot. And so if they invite me back to the White House again for one of those meetings, I can guarantee y'all, I'm going to look him in his eye and I'm going to say, what the hell are you doing about civil rights? Since you asked us what the hell you got to lose.
A peaceful protest turned deadly. 37-year-old black man was shot and killed by Baton Rouge police. His hands are in the air, and you still get shot by the cops.
Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead.
We're not going to let hate define us.
Race is a big part of this.
If truly all lives matter, then all lives need to matter equally.
What we require is action. What we require is accountability. We understand that black lives do matter, and we will keep focused on this issue.
NewsOne Now, every weekday morning at 7 on TV1.